Hello, Glenn Douglas Packard.
Hello, Missy. How are you?
So good to see you. I'm good. How are you?
I definitely have some quarantine hair here.
Uh-huh.
I
I
haven't been
think it looks
out. I
really,
think,
really good.
uh, thanks.
So, uh, for many people who dance, especially in the commercial world, they already know who you are. But for everybody else, I wonder if you could just tell us about yourself.
Okay, sure. Um, First, I gotta say, a lot of times when I end up talking about myself and my career, it totally it just all of a sudden changes paths, and I start talking about family. So I'm sorry, but I'm a big family person, and another reason why I live in Michigan is because of family. But my dance career, hard to talk about myself, but I will start with grew up on a farm in Clare, Michigan, was living my father's dream, got in a really bad farming accident, almost had my leg amputated, spent a year learning to walk again. And within that time, I realized I wanted to live a life for myself and live my dream. My father taught me to go after your dreams because he went after farming, and he was raised and born in Detroit. So I started to dance, and like Forrest Gump, Run, Forrest, Run, it was dance, Glenn, dance, and I just didn't stop dancing. I started at LCC, Lansing Community College, and Michigan State University. My minor was dance, and my major was dairy management. Um, and then I auditioned. My teacher at the time was Missy. She said, "There's nothing else we can do for you here. You're tapped out. You need to fly." And so I auditioned for Elvin Ailey School of Dance and got into their scholarship program. Moved to the city, not knowing one single person. We didn't have social media then, so my parents drove me in their truck, not willingly. They were not happy with this decision. They wanted me to stay home and farm. So I did not have the support from my parents at the beginning. They loved me, but I didn't have support. So they dropped me off on a street corner with my suitcase. I was waiting for a person to get done with work who happened to be either a teacher or a student at LCC at one time. Her name was Ann Komenar. So she was a ballet dancer at LCC or in Lansing at the time. So never met her, dropped off a street corner, my parents crying goodbye, left me. And then it just took off. I was where I needed to be. I discovered myself. Dance did so much for me. It made me the person that I am. When I think about my younger years, and if I didn't have dance in my life, I just don't know where I'd be. I found myself as a person. It made me a better person. It made me a kinder person. It made me a hardworking person. I came out, and I'm gay, and I had no problem with my sexuality, and that had a lot to do with dance as well, and my community. They embraced me and accepted me for who I was. So there was all of that through dance. It was my coming of age in New York City, the whole rent experience, meeting transgenders for the first time, meeting other gay people for the first time, dancers. It was just amazing. And New York City was amazing. Every type of person there could be, and open minds, and just great. Just my 20s were so good. And it was the new 42nd Street in Times Square. It was just starting to change, and there was crack addicts and druggies, and it turned into Disneyland in front of my eyes while I was there for the 10 years. So that was really cool to see, witness happen. And then I started to branch off into commercial dance. So I was at Elvin Ailey with concert dance and ballet and modern. And I was really starting to get drawn, and I always was younger, to music videos and MTV and Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson and Paula Abdul. And so I started to get more into the commercial world and moved over to Steps and Broadway Dance Center, where I started taking commercial dance from some of the leading choreographers, and then transitioned into being a choreographer after getting a lot of work as a dancer. I did some tours and worked with artists and commercials and film, and then started to think that I could do a lot as a choreographer too. So I transitioned into being a choreographer. And by the age of like 28, I would say I was an established choreographer in New York City, where if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. I was teaching at Broadway Dance Center, which was it's a legendary place for dancers to go and train in New York City. My resume, I worked with Pink, Usher, Ricky Martin, Mark Anthony, Liza Minnelli. And was honored to work with the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. I got an Emmy nomination for his 30th anniversary special. I did film and TV. I can't think of all the artists off the top of my head, but I've had a really great career. I've been creative director and choreographer for over 150 shows, done commercials, film. Then I started to transition after my 30s. I started to transition into producing and directing. And I believe in going after your passions. So I became a reality TV person for a little while too. I was on a VH1 reality show called Brooke Knows Best. That was like the #1 show on VH1, which was a lot of fun. Definitely enjoyed that. And then transitioned into director and producer, produced a show for the E! Network, and then started directing film. And was turning 50. Was trying to think about where my next step was going to be. I felt like I really did a lot of things I wanted to do as a dancer. I sacrificed my family and not being near them and being with them to pursue my career. So I felt like my parents were getting older, and I was a huge fan of my parents, and I wanted to spend this time now with family and my parents. So I came back to Michigan, where I can still produce, direct films, but I also ended up starting a dance company for commercial dance called the Institute of Dancers, where I work with dancers from all over Michigan. Some of them drive 2 hours back and forth just to get the kind of training and knowledge they need to succeed in this industry. And I've been focusing on that, and they are now my main focus. And I just got off the call today for a possible film project for the Institute. They saw our 80s film recently, and they're interested in doing a film project. One of the actors from one of the movies called us, and I've been talking to them all today and exchanging emails, and there's talk of doing something with the Institute as a film. So, you know, sky's the limit, and I've always been about going after your passions, and you're the captain of your destiny, keep marching forward. All of those things have helped me, and I'm excited about passing this on to the next generation of Michigan dancers, making sure they get the right training, because being at Broadway Dance Center for so many years in New York City, I saw so many dancers come to the city and be told something and be trained a certain way, and then realize that their dreams and the things that they have been told were wrong, and they were not being taught the right kind of things. And so I'm here now to make sure that they get the right tools and knowledge and education to succeed in the big cities.
I know that there were some, you know, that you were kind of in New York while concert dance and commercial dance were kind of blossoming, you know, in their own ways in the 90s. And, you know, the New York Times wrote about you and called you the dancing entrepreneur. So can you just talk about that? What is that? Why was that?
At the time, I didn't realize the importance of it, but now being older and the New York Times giving me that title is such an honor. And it was because at that time, there wasn't even agencies in New York City for commercial dance. There was starting to become this separation of styles of dance, and there was this whole industry really building for commercial dance, and the birth of like MTV and music videos, and then that transitioning into film, and then the world tours and the concerts, and and all of that. So I even opened up a dance agency at one point with Brian Thomas, who was my partner at the time, and he was from Michigan, and he worked with the Michael Jackson special with me and so many things, Broadway Dance Center. My last name was Ann Brian. It was never Glenn Douglas Packard. He'll say the other way around. It was Brian and Glenn. But there was this big transitioning happening, and I was a part of that. And in the commercial world, I was one of the leading choreographers in New York City during that time when all that was happening. So a lot of work was being brought to me on the commercial level. But for me, I have this background of concert and technical dancing too. So I appreciate both worlds so much. I believe in being a versatile dancer and having both styles of dance. I actually believe in having a big wide range of movement of dance. If you want to be a dancer and be called a dancer, then you need to train in all styles of dance. I tapped, I did ballet, I did point, I did African dance, I did hip hop, I did jazz funk. You name it, musical theater, I was there. I was in it, I was modern. And then there's all the different styles of techniques in modern, and I wanted to train in all those too. So to be a dancer, I do believe in a variety. And so that way you're so confident when you go to an agent or when you go to a manager or when you go to an audition, your level of variety of movement is what's going to give you the confidence to book that job. So I just want to say to Michigan dancers, don't put yourself in a box. Learn so many styles. You might want to get really good at one of the styles, but get good at the other styles too. Be a smart dancer.
The things I've heard you talk about and kind of watched you mentor people about is how to advocate for themselves as dancers. I hear you saying that part of that is to just put in the time and the hard work and the sacrifice and the sweat so that, you know, you can feel confident about your skills. But I also have seen and heard from you about advocating for yourself to know your worth. And how do you mentor people? Like, what do you think about talking with potential employers about that?
Yeah. When I came to Michigan, it was something that was, wow, my rates are this. I mean, I was up to $7,000 a day rate and $7,000 for a number, something as simple as that. And then you move back, I moved to Michigan and then teachers' rates and all that kind of stuff. And I get really frustrated when I hear that, like an aerobic teacher, nothing against aerobics and fitness, because I'm so all about it, especially nowadays, but that some certified dance teachers and qualified teachers don't get paid their worth. And I'm here to try and make a little bit of that difference in Michigan and around other states. I feel you putting in the time, the work, and your resume should account for definitely pay scales, for sure. The time, the commitment, that all is for sure part of that pay scale and what you're worth, and the time that you put in. I don't think anybody would question that, really. And then when it comes to a dancer and about their worth too, as a person, I want them to know too that the more you are true to yourself and being an individual, the more success that you will see. I feel really strongly about that.
Are there any other things that go along with your philosophy as you mentor dancers? I see them, you know, on your taglines, on your videos. I see them posted around in your studio and in your home. Could you share some of those with us?
Yeah, I mean, at the Institute of Dancers, our whole thing is don't tell people your dreams, show them. Because a lot of people like to talk. And I was never a talker, I was a doer. So that's kind of my take on that, is that don't talk about it, you do it. And that's the don't tell people your dreams, show them. So we're gonna show our dreams. And then two other things that I can really think about that I didn't touch on is get used to the word no. And this is going to tie in with the other thing. I got told no way more than I was ever told yes during my career. And you have to be able to handle those no's and learn from them, learn from those experiences, and you will grow as an artist and as an individual. You can't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn during those no's. Understand what those no's are. So be able to take a no. And then this ties in with it. Keep marching forward, period. You will get told the no's. You will have setbacks. You will have things in your life that are going to be a bump, that are going to slow you down, from death to the coronavirus to a disease you might have that's coming down your path, or just all the no's or rejections, or just so many things can happen along the way. You have to keep marching forward. The ones that are successful, anyone that's successful, they kept marching forward. They kept moving forward. They did not let anything stop them. And something might slow you down, but you will eventually get there if you keep marching forward.
Well, Glenn Douglas Packard, on that note, I just want to thank you for your time and sharing your life story and your philosophies. You know, I think we're so lucky to have you.
Thanks. I'm really happy to be back in Michigan. This is, I was part of this big entertainment industry, red carpets, famous people, the parties in the hills in LA. You know, I lived in LA, Miami, Las Vegas, New York, and there was always a part of me that was missing Michigan. You put me in a room with a bunch of entertainers, I'm gonna disappear, because I am pretty simple. People don't think that when they meet me in Michigan, but I'm a very simple man, and that has a lot to do with my family, who, by the way, are the biggest supporters and fans of mine now. My dad is my biggest fan. You can't go over to our house without him putting on videos, my past videos and the Institute of Dancers videos. You'll sit there for hours just watching them with my family. So that's all turned around, and it's been amazing. And I'm so happy to be here in Michigan and be with kind, good people, even though they're all over the place. For sure, the different types of people. But Michiganders have always had my heart. And I've always said that when you're from Michigan, you have a little bit, and if you're a dancer, you have superpowers. And your superpowers really come into effect being a Michigander too, when you're in this big entertainment industry, because producers and directors and artists are so attracted to your humbleness and to your kindness, and that they want some of that. They try and take it from you, so don't let them take it from you. But it's a superpower Michiganders have. They want a piece of that. They want that goodness you have and that drive you have from being from Michigan. So yeah, it's been a great journey, and I'm so happy to be in Michigan now and love it.
Yeah, we're happy that you're here too. And thanks,
Missy, for being the mayor of dance and always connecting everybody. Like, if you want to talk about connecting, like, that's your gift here in Michigan, is connecting all of us and everybody in Michigan to this dance, because you are such an advocate for both, and your open-mindedness, it's such a breath of fresh energy from you. To be able to give that to us, it means so much to us, and we appreciate it so much.
That's so sweet of you to say. Thank you.
Yes.